I am Jenna Bosonko, and this is Qtv News, coming to you live from our studios along Caraba Avenue. Thanks for joining us. Here are the main local, business, international and sports news headlines. Gambia joins the rest of the world to celebrate International Women's Day, and we have a series of special reports in celebration. Two major political parties each held their annual congress over the weekend, and we have reports from PDOIS and Gambia Action Party events. At the TRRC, the widow of Lamin Tunkara, believed to have been killed along with the West African migrants, has spoken of her husband's arrest and disappearance. In business news, while most of us take banks for granted as a standard feature, there are still areas with large populations that do not have banks. We hear how the CRR finally has a bank branch open there, the first since independence. In sports news, Gambia's senior football coach picks a provisional squad of 50 ahead of a crucial round of qualifiers. Those were the main headlines, and now the news in detail. Do stay with us. Thank you for joining us. I am Jenna Bosonko. Now, the Gambia joins the rest of the world in commemorating International Women's Day, a global day celebrating the social, economic, cultural and political achievements of women. This is my report. Despite the long-standing gender biases and stereotypes women encounter, they still push to participate and contribute to socio-economic development daily. The theme for this year's commemoration is Women in Leadership, Achieving an Equal Future in a COVID-19 World. Throughout the coronavirus pandemic, women have contributed to preparing for a more equitable recovery. Across the globe, women are at the helm of institutions carrying out effective and inclusive COVID-19 responses, from the highest levels of decision-making to frontline service delivery. Yafatu BM Job is head of the Contact Tracing Unit of the Coronavirus Response Unit. This is Dr. Job, and she is teaching junior doctors how to wear PPEs. For Dr. Job, women should have the audacity to lead.
It's not been very easy. We all know how our society is, how our culture is. She's a woman. She has her place in society. So it's quite easy that you're just stereotyped to be a follower and not a leader. And if you want to lead, they look at you in some kind of way, some kind of way that what is she trying to do? She's a woman. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. So you just have to make sure you stand your ground and know what you want and make sure that is acted upon.
In this report, we also acknowledge the efforts of women in the markets who, despite the coronavirus pandemic, still see the need to continue selling to feed their families. They too are frontliners in a way. The coronavirus has caused a $2.5 billion loss to the economy overall, and women-led businesses are of course included in this figure. I could have been sitting at home doing nothing, but I have to work and get something at the end of the day. I am urging my fellow women to come out and work to earn their own money to support themselves and their families. Dr. Job calls on women to choose to challenge.
Globally, we women, we make up over 70% of the frontliners, of the health frontliners. So we're actually doing a good job, and nobody should tell us otherwise. And that we should always continue what we're doing. And that there's no limit to what we can do. We can do everything and anything. So let them just continue pushing on and make sure that they help each other and be each other's keepers, and then know that the sky is just a stepping stone. And then whatever that anyone can achieve, we can achieve too.
Studies have found that outcomes related to COVID-19, including the number of cases and deaths, were systematically better in countries led by women, including New Zealand and Germany. Another study looked at governors in the US and similarly found that states with female leaders had lower fatality rates. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jenna Bosonko. Still on International Women's Day, as part of celebrations marking the International Women's Day, the Ministry for Gender, Children and Social Welfare on Monday presented checks worth over $1 million to 15 women CAFOs under the Women's Enterprise Fund. Lolly M. Kamara attended the presentation and she files in this report.
International Women's Day is an important day for women as it gives them a platform to take stock of social, economic, cultural and political achievements. With this year's theme, Women in Leadership Achieving an Equal Future in a COVID-19 World, the Ministry for Gender Affairs celebrated the day by supporting and uplifting various women CAFOs mainly involved in entrepreneurship during this pandemic. The Minister for Gender, Children and Social Welfare, Fatou Kinte, emphasized the importance of marking the day. According to her, the day is one on which to reflect, take stock of women's achievement as they play a major role in national development.
In our community work and in our productive work, we also pay attention to what's happening in our homes. Wherever women are, be it in the office, be it in the shop selling, be it in the market, wherever, even on the farms, we also coordinate work at home. That shows that women do a lot of multitasking. I tell people that multitasking is a special gift from God to only women. It's only women who can multitask.
She encourages women to continue doing the great work, adding that the theme for this year's celebration is in line with today's presentation.
Today, we are coming to hand over checks to women who are benefiting from the Women Enterprise Fund. Yes, women are leaders. I've said that. These women who are going to receive these checks are also leaders. And this enterprise fund money that they're going to use, it will help empower them economically so that they can continue performing their leadership roles against what? Against COVID-19.
The First Lady, Fatoumata Barbaro, shared some encouraging words with the women, advising all mothers to educate their children and allow them to finish school rather than sending them to marry early. She reminded the gathering to always respect the WHO and Ministry of Health's guidelines on the coronavirus. Dide Sawane, chairperson, National Women's Council, explained the process of becoming a beneficiary under this scheme.
If you have a bank account, you have a group from 6 to 200. You are trained by us.
Do they undergo?
The training is done by the ministry. They go through an entrepreneurship training. And there are other trainings to come when the groups will express the skills that they are interested in, and that is to follow.
For today's beneficiaries, this is a moment of hope and excitement for these women at a time when the world is still struggling with the coronavirus pandemic. Happy Women's Day. For Qtv News, Lolly M. Kamara.
Great initiative there. Now, construction work is traditionally associated with and dominated by men. However, some young women are undertaking endeavors in the sector and excelling to change the narrative. This story by Lolly M. Kamara is narrated by Ajibintu Drame.
Determination and passion for what they love doing as a career led them to where they are today. Aissatou Dwanda and her colleagues are certified and trained constructors. Despite all the challenges surrounding construction jobs, these young women are determined to keep going. They have attended various institutions to earn the required skills and knowledge and to gain experience to be able to explore in the field of construction. Misconceptions about gender-specific roles are gradually fading with the growing number of women choosing a career in construction. The women are delighted to be working alongside men.
Basically, man lu ma def comme dam def surveying, but most of these technical jobs tamit dama ko fi def.
I have been working for Jar Oil for a long time. What I do is surveying and technical jobs. What really keeps me going is the passion I have for the construction job ever since I was in school. After I graduated, I went to GTTI and other technical firms to gain more knowledge. One thing about this job is passion. Anything you do with passion is always easy. Fatou Sane shares some of the challenges she faced.
So dara yombut sa si life with me. So buge am mom, you have to taste the bitter part of life. So
it is not easy, but nothing in life is easy. People always tell me that I'm a woman and why am I doing men's job? My response is always is What a man can do, woman can also do. We say 50-50, so I'm really enjoying what I do. Ida Toure, another woman in construction, tells us how she ventured into the trade. I never thought I'll be in the construction job. I started it because of my father. I am very close to him and he motivated me to join the field because he is a constructor. That is how I started and progressed. The lack of confidence in taking on construction jobs by most women is caused by the lack of recruitment by employers, stereotypes and implicit bias. In the Gambia, even though women account for more than 50% of the population, they are still underrepresented in STEM. Ajibintu Drame, Qtv News.
Choose to challenge. Now, a Sierra Leonean journalist and author Aisha Cisse has joined UNFPA as its newest goodwill ambassador to help raise awareness of gender-based violence. On behalf of UNFPA, I spoke to her about her role, and here is an excerpt.
Yeah, listen, I think that what you need when it comes to political intervention, first of all, is we want, more women at the table, more female participation. That's absolutely critical. I mean, Sierra Leone and Gambia don't have enough women taking part in political life, decision making. We see women really consigned to the sidelines all too often, where they're cheering and they're supporting and they're organizing, but they're not actually standing, setting agendas and platforms. Women and young people at the table, because then the priorities and the concerns of women and girls will be central to all decision making. And we need legislation. You ask why it's important. It's not just a case of having it's not just about having civil society and having groups like UNFPA in the mix. We need to have the government as a support, as a partner in this, laying down the legislation, creating the policies which they act upon to make this change permanent, if you will, and that's absolutely critical. We can't have it piecemeal. We want it to be coordinated, to be well thought out, and we also want the financing, the resourcing to be placed behind some of this policy that we need to put in place to see that FGM is brought to an end, to see that child marriage is brought to an end, to see that perpetrators of rape and gender-based violence are arrested and prosecuted. We need laws.
The full version of that interview can be seen immediately after this news bulletin. Now we will take a short commercial break. Still to come, local, international, business and sports news. Do stay with us.
Communication is very vital in our everyday work, but using inefficient tools in our communications can be very frustrating. Are you tired of using inefficient tools of communication? Then subscribe to one of our smart communication tools or get us to build a tailor-made communication tool for you. We currently offer 4 main smart communication tools, namely, number 1, Chatbot. Our voice and text-based chatbot can be trained to give answers to questions on a particular subject matter or domain. Number 2, Smart Broadcast. With this tool, just by making a single phone call, you will actually call hundreds of people and deliver your voice message. Number 3, Automated Telephony Survey. With this service, you can conduct automated telephone calls to your respondents and get answers immediately updated on your dashboard. Number 4, Bridge the Digital Divide. With this service, you can push or pull information on the internet to people without internet via their simple phones. For more information, please call us on 379-8922 or 798-9935. The Web Way.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. If you're just tuning in, this is QTV News. Now, the People's Democratic Organization for Independence and Socialism, which will mark 35 years' existence this year, held its Congress last Sunday and saw Halifa Sallah elected as the party's presidential candidate for the December 2021 elections. Mr. Sallah and the new PDOIS executive are tasked to deliver on the party's political program for system change in the Gambia. Momodou Lamin Choi has the rest of that.
A Congress that comes after a caravan within the Greater Banjul area ended in the early hours of Monday, marking the beginning of a political campaign the party brands a transformative agenda towards system change in the country.
We fought tirelessly against the regime that was here before, because it did not serve our interest, because it oppressed us, because it denied us everything. And we want in place a system that is going to serve our interests, a system that will recognize the fact that we are all sovereign, and nobody's sovereignty is bigger than anybody else's sovereignty.
The People's Democratic Organization for Independence and Socialism was among the parties that formed a coalition to defeat Gambia's long-serving autocratic leader, Yahya Jammeh, for the PDOIS party that was mission accomplished. And this Congress marks the start of another one because the party believes that the country has a whole system still operating in the old ways of previous regimes.
They participated in effecting the change, in stabilizing the nation, in order to ensure a peaceful transfer of power. That is the history of this party. Don't judge the party by the number of seats in the National Assembly. Don't judge the party by the percentages. That does not define Doy, it defines you, not us. It defines you, not us. Because for us, we know our national duty, and we are ready to sacrifice our lives for the sake of our people and country.
Choosing to lead that effort is a founding member of the left-wing party, Halifa Sallah, who was selected in a unanimous decision by the party delegates to go unopposed and nominated to continue in his SG position and for the first time to lead the party in the December presidential race to the State House.
If I were ever to be the president of this republic, for months and a year, and discover that I cannot add value, I promise you that I will resign. And if I have to spill blood, arrest, detain, just to be president of this republic, they will call me a criminal, the worst criminal who has ever lived on this earth.
In a historic move pointing the way towards a transformative journey for the country, the party has elected an executive that is both gender and youth sensitive, paving the way for a generational transfer of leadership through amendment of its constitution. Given such a reform in the party, positions of deputies were left for women aged 45 and below. In the event, a man backed a higher one. This led to a female youth, Aminata Korea, becoming the first ever Deputy Secretary General of the party.
We are together in this. We'll take the journey shorter than before. But we believe that we'll get there. We'll get there together. But we'll do so with maturity. We'll do so with discipline. We'll do so with perseverance, knowing that turning back is going into hell. And moving forward is heading towards heaven.
PDOIS has developed a manifesto to campaign in the upcoming elections. Part of it advocates for farmers' welfare, state investment in the industry sector for harnessing our natural resources, and other policy interventions to run state affairs for the development of the country. Mohamed Lamin Choi, Qtv News.
The country has entered the party Congress season, and supporters of the Gambia Action Party and invited guests gathered on Sunday for the party's National Congress at a local hotel in Senegambia. As Alucisi reports, the party officials are confident of victory ahead of the December polls.
The Gambia Action Party was registered on 17 January 2019 with the Independent Electoral Commission as the 10th political party at the time, having fulfilled the necessary requirements. Mass development through mass action is the motto of the party. GAP is an active actor in the political affairs as it wants to be politically dominant in the country. The Congress brought together supporters and invited guests, including votes from other political parties. The reform agenda of the Gambia Action Party includes relocating the seaport from Banjul to Khartoum and establish dry ports in Banjul, Kaur and Basse. GAP also wants to move the capital from Banjul to Jarasoma and construct railways, sea, road and aviation transportation systems. GAP also intends to build a new airport terminal in Basse and expand the current airport terminal to host at least 2 million passengers. Its reform agenda also includes improving the internet services system through affordable GSM operator tariffs, lowering house rental in the Gambia and ensuring proper service delivery, in addition to eradicating individual rental service and encouraging company service are some of the other initiatives. Musa Yali Bacheli, Secretary General and leader of the GAP, expressed delight at the successful hosting of the National Congress. With Gambians preparing to head to the polls in December, Bacheli believes GAP is a key contender that doesn't believe in a coalition to win the election.
So coalition is to us, it's not a matter of must. It is, if Allah decreed, will. If not, we'll stand alone. I believe GAP alone can win, and I believe other political party can win alone. I have that belief in. I'm more optimistic. One solo party can win.
At the Congress, a new executive was elected to steer the affairs of the party. Damsir Jase remains the party's national president. The party wouldn't announce its flag bearer at the Congress, but it says there are competent people to choose as flag bearer, and he or she will be unveiled at the right time. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
From that story by Aliou Cisse, we will take a short commercial break, but still to come, we still have local, business and sports news stories. Do stay tuned.
From an early age, we value the feeling of speed, the thrill of the wind as we rush to our destinations, the feel of our feet bounding over the ground, the way the world blurs as we rush by. Faster, faster than a ray of light, I'm flying. I have one speed, I have one gear. Keep on moving, I won't stop till I get there. Want to experience speed? Then subscribe to the Gambia's 4G LTE mobile network, QCell. With speeds of up to 45 megabytes per second, you can get online in the blink of an eye. The fastest browsing, stream videos faster, do much more faster. Just dial *335# to join the fastest club. QCell's 4G LTE mobile network. Go faster. For more information, call 111. QCell, Senior Boss. We innovate, others follow.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. If you're just tuning in, this is QTV News. Now, the widow of the late Lamin Tunkara told the Truth Commission on Monday that she was pregnant when her husband was taken away by state agents in plain clothes, never to return. Babukar C has the rest of that.
Adama Conte told the TRRC that she was having breakfast with her late husband when he received a call and left for Banjul. That evening, her husband was escorted back to the house while handcuffed and accompanied by state agents who searched the house. Lamin Tunkara was detained at Banjul Police Station and later at Kairaba Police Station. Adama Conte said she later came to realize that her late husband was intending to travel with some Ghanaians to Spain through the so-called back way. Her husband said she was granted bail at the magistrate court in Banjul through his lawyer, but he was refused bail. When she returned the following day, her husband was nowhere to be found.
I told her, Nene, this thing is really puzzling to me. She replied to me that, well, she's also puzzled as well, because the man has already been granted bail. I went to mile 2. I went there to ask about his whereabouts or to get information about him. People I found there, I don't know them. I asked them, I told them that I'm looking for somebody called Lamin Tunkara. The man said to me, wait, let me look in the file. He went through the pages of the file. He said to me, there is no name corresponding to Lamin Tunkara's name here.
The witness said a few months later, after giving birth, she made frantic efforts to find her husband, but to no avail.
Because I konyele daha lamin nyinola.
Because he told me, stop looking for Lamin.
Kita yesi suo kono ini dingo.
Go and sit at home with your baby.
Kay problem talan tetenda halal ninga daw dalon ko nyanta tala jelen kay mbita jelo.
I said to him, well, there's no problem, but I will not rest. Wherever I know that I can go there to find out about him, I will go there.
The witness said it became clear to her that her husband is dead after the testimony of the junglers on the killings of the migrants.
I want truth and justice. That government, I cannot forgive them.
Adama Conte said her daughter keeps telling her that Yaya Jammeh killed her father. Babu Karsi, Qtv News.
Now on to some business news. Banks are considered essential in most communities. However, there are still some major communities without them. Over the weekend, Basic Bank, the Gambia inaugurated a provincial bank in Janjanbureh, the first bank in the Central River region since independence. Alaji A.F. Jallo has the rest of that.
Residents of Janjanbureh and surroundings on Saturday joined the staffs and management of Basic Bank at the inauguration, the bank's first provincial bank, which also happens to be the first bank to be opened in Central River region since independence. At the inauguration ceremony in Janjanbureh, the bank's director of marketing, Aissatumane Sambas, said Basic Bank is guided by the concept of inclusive banking and says Basic Bank is pushing forward on its expansion project across the country. She went on to say the bank's aim is to bring banking to the doorstep of every Gambian and to bank the unbanked.
It's also noteworthy to highlight that Basic Bank Limited is an investment bank and a commercial bank. We aim to offer innovative financial solutions, provide quality service to our customers, maximize returns for our shareholders and partners, and ensure internal environment of remarkable work by the quality of its members. We're guided by the principle of inclusive banking. Basic Bank is pushing forward on its expansion projects in the length and breadth of the country. We aim to bring banking in the doorsteps of every single Gambian. We want to bank the unbanked and provide quality and efficient financial solutions to all.
The governor of CRR, Honorable Abasanyang, said he could not find the words to express his delight at this historical development. He further said CRR has the potential to keep a bank and make it successful.
I need to highlight that CRR has the potentials to keep a bank and make a bank grow. We have all the means to make a bank successful, and I bet we are going to make Basic Bank successful. We are not encouraging any partner for them, hence we have tried and got no partner for them. Therefore, Central Bank representative, Ministry of Finance representative, we are giving our 100% support for those who are now wiping the tears on our faces and our eyes.
Demba C, the first account holder at the branch, and Fariman Saho, the first depositor, all expressed delight at this banking milestone. Both say this is long overdue.
The bank will not regret this step. Because definitely, as the governor said, there are a lot of potentials. So we will encourage everybody. Like I'm the district chief of Salem. I will be the marketing officer for the bank in my district.
Today is a very historic day. We are very happy for Basic Bank. We are very happy for the region. We are manufacturers. As a customer of the bank, we are in the manufacturing sector. We are producing, roofing sheets and other products, in terms of construction. So imagine, we are based in Combo, in Jimpex particularly, and most of the raw material of construction happen around Jimpex area. So we do have customers coming from, all the way from CRR, from Basse, and all over the country. But they will carry the millions of bags of, dollars in their hand to come all the way to our office. So today, we are happy to say to our customers, likewise the customers of the bank, that you can directly come to CRR, Janjanbureh, and pay your money.
Basic Bank Gambia is part of the Basic Group, which was established under the agreement signed in 1999 at the time of the treaty founding the community of Sahel-Saharan states. The acronym BISIC is from the French for the Sahelo-Saharan Bank for Investment and Commerce. The bank prides itself on providing financial service of quality in compliance with the international standards and contributes to the development of the economies of the community, Africa and globally. The government of the Gambia is also a shareholder of the bank. The inauguration of this bank has finally brought banking service to this community. For QTV News, I am Alaji F. Jal.
In international news, Commonwealth Day is held annually on the second Monday in March. This year's falls on 8th March and commemorates the Commonwealth of Nations, a loose association of former British colonies and current dependencies, along with some countries that have no historical ties to Britain. This year's theme is delivering a common future, connecting, innovating and transforming.
Commonwealth Day in this country is usually a fun day. Children go to school decked out in traditional garb and bring in food traditional to their ethnic group. Days leading to the celebration, the kids create the flags of all the member states of the Commonwealth and decorate the classrooms with them. In some schools, the children perform a play, usually themed around notions of diversity, friendship and the common good. As with everything else, COVID-19 has greatly impacted this year's celebration. Queen Elizabeth II of Great Britain, the head of the Commonwealth, on Sunday praised the courage, commitment and selfless dedication to duty of frontline healthcare and public service workers across the Commonwealth in their response to the pandemic. Her broadcast replaces the annual service at Westminster Abbey, which was cancelled due to COVID-19 restrictions. Prince Charles, the heir to the throne, joined by other royals, including his elder son and heir, Prince William, also broadcast a tribute to the courage shown by people throughout the Commonwealth in response to the pandemic. In 2018, Prince Charles and his wife Camilla undertook a tour of 3 West African Commonwealth countries, including the Gambia. The Commonwealth represents a global network of 54 countries and a vast community which spans every geographical region, religion and culture, embracing diversity among its population of 2.4 billion people. But over the years, many detractors have wondered why a group of nations that struggled to win their independence from Great Britain should have chosen to reconstitute themselves in an organization that closely resembles the shape of former British Empire. Furthermore, they say, membership carries few economic benefits and the member states differ remarkably in many respects. They almost never vote the same way at the United Nations. They diverge on most diplomatic issues, and when the body meets a hard policy issue, its solidarity falls victim to its diversity. According to one analyst, it is hard to find an issue on which the Commonwealth has succeeded in bringing about genuine change since the demise of white rule in Southern Africa. Yet, far from unraveling, the Commonwealth has inspired 3 imitators: the Organisation Internationale de la Francophonie, the Comunidade dos Países de Língua Portuguesa, and the Commonwealth of Independent States. Non-Anglophone countries have also joined the group: Lusophone Mozambique in 1995 and Rwanda in 2009. And it has been suggested that Brexit would deepen Britain's economic ties with the Commonwealth members in Africa, though the pandemic has somewhat dampened some of the rosier predictions. The organization consists of a variety of networks developed over decades. The Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, the Association of Commonwealth Universities, and the Commonwealth Lawyers Association are among the most prominent of over 100 Commonwealth non-governmental organizations. And benefits of membership come in many forms, such as receiving Commonwealth scholarships and competing in the Commonwealth Games, a major international sporting event. Despite its imperial origins, the Commonwealth also has a strong radical tradition, according to some analysts. In the 1960s and 1970s, it played a leading role in condemning racial discrimination, most notably with its landmark Singapore Declaration of Commonwealth Principles in 1971. In the 1980s and 1990s, it campaigned for debt relief for some of the world's poorest nations. So if the Commonwealth is to continue to be relevant to Africa in the 21st century, that radicalism certainly needs to be rediscovered. For Qtv News, I am Mamadou Mbouch.
Now on to some sports news. I am joined by my colleague Mamadou Gajaga. Mamadou Gajaga takes us through what is happening in the world of sports. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Jennifer, and we're happy to be here to give you some sports bulletins. First, we start in the Gambia, as the Scorpions coach Tom Sanford have selected a provisional list of players, that is 50 of them, where it is going to be trimmed down to at least 22 or 23 players for the Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers at home first against Angola on the 25th of this month's March, and 3 days later they will be playing against DR Congo. That is going to be an away game. For more on that story, let's hear from Aliou Cissé.
It is 17 days away before the Scorpions of the Gambia return to action for two crucial matches in the African Cup of Nations qualifiers for next year's continental tournament in Cameroon. The Scorpions will host the Blancas Negras of Angola on March 25th before rounding off their qualifiers with an away match to the third place Leopards of DR Congo in Kinshasa on March 29th. In preparation for the games, Coach Tom Sanford has invited a professional list of 50 players, which will be trimmed to a final list of 25 players before the encounters. The long list will provide the coach with more options in case any player pulls out as a result of injury, club refusals to release players, or COVID-19 related reasons. In many European leagues, coaches have said they will not release players for match qualifiers due to COVID-19 quarantine issues, leading to the postponement of South American World Cup qualifying matches scheduled for March. The senior Scorpions of the Gambia have never qualified to an AFCON tournament, but the current squad is keen on changing that and making an appearance in Cameroon in 2022. The Gambia currently tops Group D with 7 points, followed by Gabon in second position with 7 points, with the side separated by goal difference. DR Congo is occupying third place with 6 points, and Angola at the bottom with 1 point. The Scorpions have had a good campaign so far, with a 3-1 away win to Angola, 2-1 win at home against Gabon, 2-2 draw with DR Congo at home, and 2-1 away loss to Gabon. The jam long list includes familiar faces such as midfielder Ibrahima Sona and Suleiman Mar, defenders Famoudou Diagne and Umar Koli, goalkeeper Alhaji Diop, and forwards Moussa Baro, Hassan Cissé, Steve Traoré, Lamine Diallo, and Modou Baro. Striker Aliso is also back on the invited list after being away from the team for so long. Some new inclusions include defenders Modou Jaju and James Gomez, forward Alou Vadera, and striker Modou Boyang of Brikama United, who is the only local best player invited by Coach Tom. A win for the Scorpions at home to Angola, together with a win for Gabon against DR Congo, will automatically secure the Gambia a maiden place in the AFCON finals. Irrespective of the outcome of other matches, the Scorpions still need maximum 4 points from the next 2 games to be in Cameroon. With many anticipating filling the stadium to cheer on the boys, it is not yet clear whether the game will be played behind closed doors or not due to the pandemic. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cissé.
Well, good luck to the Scorpions as they try to get to their first Africa Cup of Nations for the first time in their history. Let's hope that it will happen someday. Now to volleyball. Let's talk about the Under-19 Championship in Nigeria, where the Gambia finished third in the competition. Well, they were looking forward to grabbing the 2 places in the competition, but eventually it is host Nigeria that will qualify to the World Championship, and the Gambia, it appears, will settle for just 3rd place. If you look at the competition, it's been among 4 nations. That is Morocco, Gambia, Nigeria, and Cameroon. In this order, it's Nigeria first, that's Cameroon second, and Gambia third, and Morocco finished 4th in this competition in that championship. Back to you, Jennifer. That's all we have for you in the sports.
Thank you so much, Mamadou Gajaga. Good luck to our Scorpions, and congratulations to our volleyball team for at least making it this far. Now, before we end this news bulletin, let's take a quick look at our main stories. The Gambia joins the rest of the world to celebrate International Women's Day, and we had a series of special reports in celebration. 2 major political parties each held their annual Congress over the weekend, and we reported from the PDOIS and Gambia Action Party. And the TRRC, the widow of Lamin Tunkara, believed to have been killed along with the West African migrant, spoke of her husband's arrest and disappearance. In sports news, while most of us take banks for granted as a standard feature, there are still areas with large populations that do not have banks. We heard how the CRR finally has a bank branch open there, the first since independence. In sports news, Gambia's senior football coach has picked a provisional squad of 50 players ahead of a crucial round of qualifiers. Well, that is all we have for you in this edition of QTV News. Do join us tomorrow same time for more news. Thanks for watching and do take care of yourselves.